Okay. Hi, everyone. So you are here today, and thank you for being here. All of you in person, all of you online. Miss Alyssa asked me to do a presentation on stuff to do with your troops. And I did a much like faster, condensed 12-month thing last fall for the volunteer summit, and it was not enough time. In an hour I could not do all 12 months, and I had to go at a ridiculously fast pace. So we're doing this in chunks. This is the first of a series. So we are going to be doing the summer months now, and then at the end of the summer we'll do the fall months, et cetera, et cetera. So this will get you sort of the next few months here. Technically, it's supposed to start May because we're already in April, but I'm starting with a couple of April things just in case you're looking for last minute ideas. To introduce myself, my name is Mandy Scurry. I am a longtime Girl Scout and volunteer, and I don't know, I've just done all the things. So I love Girl Scouts, and I love to come up with new and fun things to do with Girl Scouts. And I hope sharing some of the things that I've done or know of people that have done will inspire you to get out there with your girls. So let's get started with just a few things for April, in case you're looking. Next one. Thank you. Next slide, please. Just in case you're looking for some last minute things for this month. Of course, April is Earth Day. That's a really big one. Mesker Park Zoo and Wesselman Woods always have some sort of an Earth Day event. Mesker is this coming Saturday. Wesselman will be on actual Earth Day weekend, the following Saturday. Some things to keep in mind for Girl Scouts. We have the climate challenge patch. So that is an activity that you can do with your girls that kind of go along with the Earth Day theme. Arbor Day is also in April, so it's a really nice hand-in-hand kind of thing, Earth Day and Arbor Day. So you can do the Girl Scout tree promise with your girls. Both of those patches are technically patches. And Alyssa, if I say this wrong, please chime in. But Girl Scouts has started doing something that's kind of in between the official badge that goes on the front and the fun patches that are on the back. So it's really sort of a hybrid, to be honest. And the Girl Scout Climate Challenge and the Tree Promise patches are like that. So they are patches, so they go on the back. However, they do have loose requirements and suggestions of activities. So you can just hop online and get the list. And typically with these, what Girl Scouts does is they say like daisies need to do one activity from 5 categories, and brownies need to do 2, juniors 3, et cetera, et cetera. So that's typically the type of thing. So you kind of pick and choose what you want to do to earn that patch. But it's a little looser than and a little easier than the actual badges that go up front. So that's what the climate challenge and the tree promise is. Also some things to keep in mind. National Park Week is coming up. I actually just got a Facebook post about this while I was making the presentation. I'm going to throw it on there because here we are. I am a big flat hat geek. I love our national parks and state parks. So National Park Week is usually a really fun time to go because they always have lots of fun activities. We have several national parks within driving distance of the council. And so park sites, so national park sites, obviously they're not national parks with a capital P, so it's not like Yosemite or Yellowstone. But we have Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial, that's in Spencer County. And then we have George Rogers Clark National Historical Park, I think is the official title. That's in Vincennes. And then there's some, slightly outside of the council too, that are nearby. So Park Week's a good time to visit because they have extra activities. So that makes it really fun. Also, Citizen Science Month. I can't go without mentioning that, as I'm also a citizen science educator. And as you can tell by the logo that's on the screen, SciStarter has a special partnership with Girl Scouts to help Girl Scouts earn a citizen science journey. So if you're looking for that journey to do, citizen science is a really fun way to do it. Relatively easy, and you can call me to help you. As I've done it many, many times. In fact, I just did it twice today. And so it's really fun to do. So that's something you can do at any time of the year, of course, but April, the Citizen Science Month. Okay, on to May, where we're supposed to actually be talking about. Starting with summer, so we're going to talk about May. And this is what I think most of you are here for, right? You're here for bridging. Girl Scouts has a lot of traditions, which makes it really, really awesome and special and unique from other youth organizations that kids are exposed to. However, I mean, let's be honest, it can be a little intimidating if you weren't raised in Girl Scouts, or if it's been a minute, or if simply you have not much memory of your childhood. Like I have a terrible memory, so I don't remember details. So it can be a little intimidating and you're afraid you're going to do it wrong. But let me just assure you that you can't do it wrong because there's no rules to it. I mean, as long as you are safe, that's all that matters, right? So let's just go through the basics of what it is, just to kind of get your creative juices flowing for bridging. And then I'm sure you can take it from there. So just as a general overall knowledge, bridging is when you move on to the next level of Girl Scouting. This has changed. When this happens has changed since I was a kid, which of course was last century. So, but nonetheless, it has changed quite a bit. Girl Scouts at the beginning of this century did a revamp of their levels, and so it's different than when we were kids. Even if you were a Girl Scout and you went through all this, it's different than when we were kids. So these I just threw up on the slides the breakdown so you know if your girls can bridge this year. So basically, if you're looking at the odd numbers, 1, 3, and 5 grade, then it's time to bridge. Cadets throws things off a little bit because it's all 3 years of middle school. So it's an 8, and then you're going to look at grade 10, and then of course graduation 12. So those are the years that you bridge. But just because you're not bridging, say you've got kindergartners or you've got, second graders, whatever it is, doesn't mean that this doesn't apply, because you can keep in mind for next year. And a lot of these things can just be an end of year ceremony. So don't tune out completely. Keep with us, okay? Basically, there's 2 things that can happen. Number 1, you just automatically age into the next level. So whether you've been a Girl Scout for 1 minute or 10 years, you are automatically put into the next level by your age, by your grade, I should say, by your grade. So even if you haven't done 2 years of daisies and you're in the 1st grade, maybe you just started yesterday, you will still be a brownie next year, whether you try to or not. Okay, so that you don't have to do anything for it to happen, it just happens. Okay, but if you want to earn the bridging award, which is kind of nice, especially if your plan is to go for a while in Girl Scouts, because those are some of the few awards that carry on from uniform to uniform to uniform. I should have brought, if I was more organized, forgive me, busy day, I should have brought my girls' uniforms. But you can see that they have all the bridges on them. Do you have Miss Alyssa's going to run and get a sample for me. So that's really cool to do the bridging awards. And they're really easy to do. Step 1, share what you've learned in your current level with a younger group. So if you are a brownie, you have to share with a daisy troop what it's like to be a brownie. Okay? And the next step is learn what you're getting yourself into. So if you're a brownie, you have to learn from juniors what it's like to be a junior. Teach and learn. That's it. That's all you have to do. And really, just like with all things Girl Scouts, it's what you make of it. It's what you do. So that could just be visiting another meeting. That could be going on a 1-week adventure with that troop. It does anywhere in between, whatever you think you need to do. When I was a kid, which frankly I think it's no longer a requirement. but it's kind of a neat thing to kind of have in your mind. When I was a kid, we had to earn a badge from the level that we were going into. So if we were brownies, in order to bridge to juniors, we had to earn a junior badge. And that was sort of our learning what juniors was like. That's not the requirement anymore. You don't have to be that detailed with it, but it still kind of puts you in the right mindset of teaching your girls what's next. Okay, so that's what bridging is. Next slide, please. I also want you to think out of the box for a bridge with your girls, because this can be really fun. Okay, when they're really little, they really want an actual bridge, right? Which is awesome. You know, many of the service units have actual little garden bridges that you can pick up and put in the back of your SUV. And, you know, I had one for years. I've passed it on to a younger leader. She's passing it out to people now. So it makes it really fun. But I put a bunch of examples here, none of which are mine this time. So all of these I got off the internet. But the bottom left, you might, thank you, you might recall that is Camp Cook. So there's an actual bridge at Camp Cook. So a lot of troops in our council love to do bridging ceremonies. The beautiful bridge that goes across the lake at Camp Cook. So that's an option to you. But I mean, you can just throw down a rug or a drop cloth or tape it down on the floor. Or yes, you can cross the Golden Gate Bridge. The council that is there does it every year. During the time where they have the special walk across the bridge activity, whatever. So, I mean, again, anywhere between, you know, taping it down on the floor to the Golden Gate Bridge and anywhere in between. Just as an example, my now senior Girl Scout, my older daughter, we bridged at the end of our spring camp out by walking across a stone bench at Lincoln Boyhood. There you go. So they stepped up the stone bridge, and it was a nice sturdy stone bench at Lincoln Boyhood. They stepped up on there, walked across, and stepped out. Congratulations. We had a little poem and stuff too, but you know, don't be too literal with the bridge thing. Have fun with it. You know, you just have a palette. You can don't stress over the bridge part. Okay, so think outside the bridge.
I will say one of the favorites that I saw when I was at a bridging ceremony during my time in Girl Scouts, there was a troop that created a bridge, kind of the two sides, like you had the ribbons up there, and they had balloons that they had filled with helium. And I think there was like a red, orange, yellow, so that it made the rainbow colors.
Yep.
And they just lined it and they faced it towards the front. And the girls walked forward and families got to take pictures. And I was like, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, so you can just like, I don't know if you could hear Alyssa. Did you turn your microphone on to say that or not?
No,
okay,
it'll overlap with yours.
Okay, yeah. So
Alyssa
was saying similar to the top right picture with just the cans and the posts. Instead of the posts, it was just balloon bouquets of the colors. As you can tell by the bridging awards, this is all of them in no particular order. I just picked them up from Melissa giving them to me from the shop. So the rainbow is kind of a theme for the bridge. So you can, if you hop on Pinterest or just do a Google search, you will find that many bridges are rainbow themed. And that's because the actual bridging awards are rainbow themed. They used to be more so, like when I was a kid, it was an actual rainbow. So there you go. All right, next, thank you. All right, so let's go in order, shall we? People sent in questions ahead of time and everybody asked for specific things to each level. And I'm gonna warn you, if you have older Girl Scouts, you know, it's just nature of the beast with our older Girl Scouts is we kind of have to make it up on our own. There's not a whole lot for the older girls, but I have a little bit, okay? All right, bridging to brownies. This tradition is actually pretty hard to find, which I found kind of shocking because I remember this vividly when I was a kid. Of course, when I was a kid, we started as brownies, so this tradition was our first meeting, okay? But this now applies to bridging from daisies to brownies. The whole idea of the Girl Scout brownie comes from a folktale character in like the British Isles, okay? Ireland, Scotland, Britain, okay? And it's the whole idea that these little brownies, these sprites, these elves, okay, will come out in the middle of the night while you're asleep and do your work for you. Okay, we'll clean up, clean up the kitchen or mend your shoes, or I mean, this story is pretty typical in a lot of different cultures, right? But that's what Girl Scout brownies are named for. The idea is that you help others without the expectation of being recognized for it. So you do it, but not for the sake of getting praise for doing it. You do it just to help. So you do it kind of in secret, that you're not doing it for praise, you're doing it to be a helpful person. Okay, so there's this whole story with it, and that's what the brownie elves are. Okay, and so this, you can see this is my younger troop. Sorry, I'm pointing to both places, but this, here we go. This is my younger troop. That's me holding her so she doesn't fall into the lake. Okay, what you can't tell in that picture of the blue bed sheet, literally my blue bed sheet from my bed. Like I said, don't go crazy here. And the mirror off my daughter's wall in her bedroom. That's it. That's all it is. Inside the blue sheet is a mirror. And the gist of it is twist me, turn me, and show me the elf. Okay, so it's sort of like, if you're blindfolded and you get turned for pin the tail on the donkey, except they're not blindfolded. So you just turn around a couple times, twist me, turn me, show me the elf. And then they say, as you help them, because they just turned around, you don't want them falling over. So as you can see, I've got my hands on her. Show me the elf. I look in the water and I see myself. So I'm not going to wait for anybody else to do the work. I'm going to do it. Okay. So that's what's so awesome about it. So this is a very old tradition. Like I said, you're not going to find this a whole lot. There's stories of it in the Brownie Journey books. So if you get those ahead of time, you can look at that and get all the information. So yeah, so that's really what is fun with bridging to brownies. This could also be used as a rededication or a starting a troop. Like I said, when I was a kid, that's what we did at our first meeting as brownies, because there was no daisies. So everybody gets a membership pin. You have to earn, of course, like I mentioned before, the bridging award. And then you also get your service star at that thing. Everybody gets a service star. Does anybody have questions about brownies? Yes.
When you say earn the bridging award, can you explain that, please?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. So there's two different categories for this, for end of year awards.
Okay.
So there's the membership star. If you paid your dues, you get a star. That's it. Okay. And they each have a different colored background depending on what, and again, those carry over. So that was very Minnesota. Sorry, soul. Wow. Sometimes it just comes out of me 25 years later.
Keeping us away.
So my 16-year-old has lines of stars because they carry over. Okay. Don't have to do anything. All you have to do is pay your dues. Membership star, check. Same goes with, of course, the membership pin. It's just that, that's what you are a member. That's what it is. However, the bridging award, these things are earned. And that's the thing where you have to teach younger girls about your current level. And it's two parts. And you have to learn about the level you're going into from older girls. But how you do that is totally up to you. That's all you have to do. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And what you need to do is find a troop that's also bridging, because they have to teach younger kids and you have to learn from older kids, and it just kind of stacks on each other. Everybody just helps each other out this time of year by doing that.
There are instructions for bridging in every level handbook. So at the very end of the handbook, it'll tell you for your level what you need to do to bridge. The brownie story is in the beginning of the brownie handbook. So if someone's
Yes.
looking for that. And then
Yep.
the brownie bridging activity that Mandy mentioned, I believe is in the GSUSA guide to bridging, which gives you just some examples
And
that
I
you can use.
and
I'll
I
send
have
that to
those.
everyone.
Yep. I have that, Alyssa's saying that there's bridging guides from GSUSA and from some councils and stuff. I have some of those links saved, so we will send those out afterwards, have them available, so you can look into more details. Okay, juniors. That's, I think, specifically what you wanted to know. So juniors, again, has a tradition that comes way back, way back. So it used to be back in the day that there were Brownie Scouts and there were Girl Scouts. Okay, so the littles were Brownie Scouts and they were taken care of by their leaders who were called owls or something. And so the whole idea was that they were safe in the nest because they were brownies, they were training. But then if they were going to become Girl Scouts, the older group, then they had to fly the nest. So the tradition is for brownies bridging to juniors that they for their bridging award, they receive wings. So they get the little wings. And here's the little poem that talks about flying up to juniors, junior Girl Scouts. I have seen a lot of troops do fun things. Now, keep in mind, you are talking about third graders. So wings mean fairies and Pegasus and all sorts of wonderfully dragons, wonderfully magical things, and that is totally fine. Let them decide what kind of wings they need to wear as they fly up to juniors. I've seen some really cute fairy themed bridgings and that sort of thing. So just like with all thing Girl Scouts, let the girls be part of it, okay? Let them decide. Once again, the wings are, you will receive it regardless. There's no, it's just an age thing. There's no requirements for it. You will also receive the new membership pin, the Girl Scout Trefoil membership pin to replace the Brownie membership pin, okay? But you have to earn that bridging award by the same thing that we talked about, teaching a younger group what Brownies is all about and learning from juniors what juniors is all about. Okay, so there you go. Next one, please. Cadets. Bridging cadets is a little less traditional. Okay. So the only thing that I've ever really seen is the silver key. And this is what we did. Basically, it's the idea for cadets that you are unlocking your future, your potential. So this is the level of Girl Scouting that gives you an idea of what it be when you grow up or whatever it is. So that's what the silver key is about. Once again, there's the bridging award. Your membership is your membership pin stays the same from juniors up, so there's no new membership pin. But you can do the bridging award if you do those two requirements: teaching a younger troop, learning from an older troop. So there, or girl, doesn't have to be a whole troop. So that's what that is. And you can see the little poem that goes with that. I gave my girls like a little necklace and I just got the charms from a craft store. It was really inexpensive. So that's what we did. Okay, next please. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't got a whole lot for the little kids. Like I said, my seniors were like, whatever, right? So they walked across a stone bench. And I found this really cool poem about four winds or something. And that was it. Ask them what they want to do. I think a lot of the older girls get a kick out of adventure bridgings. So those are the ones that want to find a cool bridge somewhere, like a literal cool bridge somewhere, like the Golden Gate Bridge. Maybe not that cool. But of course, we have one down at Pigeon Creek here in Evansville. That's pretty popular because it's walking only. Right there by, is it Meltzer Stone? Am I saying that right? Anybody know? Okay, anyway. There's a nice,
believe you.
Yep. Right off Fulton Avenue, there's in downtown Evansville there. I don't even know if I'm pointing in the right direction. Anyway, there's, I mean, just stuff like that. There's, you know, a beautiful, like McCormick Creek State Park has a beautiful stone bridge. Maybe you find a covered bridge. There's lots of covered bridges in Indiana. So you can do that as part of like your camp out or whatever. And so I know they kind of like those more adventure bridges versus the family party kind of thing is not a thing anymore. So that's always really popular with the older kids. Get them to plan it. I mean, at this point, your job is just making sure nobody gets hurt. So let them plan and figure out what they want to do. Multi-level bridging. Somebody asked about that, about multi-level bridging. I liked this question because growing up, my Girl Scouts, we all had troops, of course, that we met weekly, but we also did a lot of things as a service unit, which was basically my entire town, small town in Minnesota. So I loved this part because we would do mass bridging, which meant that all the town girls who were bridging were part of it. So we had de facto a multi-level troop bridging. And basically what you want to do is start with the youngers. And the idea is that the group that they are going into welcomes them into that group. So you start with the daisies and you have the brownies on the other side of the bridge. Okay. And those brownies are welcoming the daisies to brownies. And then you go to the brownies and they come over to the side and the juniors are welcoming the brownies to juniors. And you just pile on and then pretty soon everybody's over a bridge. Okay. So basically you start, in fact, it took me a minute to figure out who starts, like who's on first, but you start with the youngest and then you will have the group, the older group there waiting for them. And I loved this because of course the older girls are just the coolest things ever, right? And so if they're welcoming you to this new, even if within 30 seconds they're going to the next one, it didn't matter. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So you can still do for each age group the things that I mentioned, but you do it in a certain order so that the age level is welcoming the new people in each time, which is very, very fun. So, okay, I think that's all I have for bridging. Does anybody have any questions about bridging before I move on?
So Mandy, I am currently reviewing the GSUSA bridging guide that I will email to everyone. And just so we are all on the same page, it does have bridging basics at the beginning, which tells you kind of what Mandy summarized. In case you forget, you can always watch this recording again. And then it goes into the insignia and the uniforms that you need for your troop. So what age level you have, what they are going to need to bridge. And that includes the color of the disc, if they're going to have a new pin, if they're going to have a new uniform, goes through all of that. And then it also has the bridging award requirements. So if you do not have a handbook, it's going to be in here. And each level does have a sample bridging ceremony. So even for the older two, even though there's not something specific for them, like the wings or the key, it does give a sample for you, so you have a starting point.
And you can Google a lot of those too. That goes with any level. People come up with so many wonderful things as far as decorations or traditions or whatever. I mean, just Google it, do some poking around, and you'll find some really great stuff. It really is fun. Something I just want to warn you against, in my opinion. Again, do what you want to do, but in my opinion, you get into a tricky situation with bridging when it comes to uniforms because it looks great to take off your old vest and put on the new one. But in my experience, 3, 4 of those new ones will never be used again because they don't come back to Girl Scouting the next year. And now somebody just wasted time and money on that vest. So what I have always done is the membership pin, and that's it. If they come back in the fall to continue being Girl Scouts as juniors or whatever it is level, then we do an investiture ceremony, which I'll talk about at the next session. How about that?
Yeah, Mandy's booked
So-
all year long. We don't have dates yet.
So,
She knows.
so then you do an investiture ceremony because you know they're gonna be there, especially if you're using troop money to buy uniforms. Don't do it. In my opinion, this is not official counsel. Hey, this is just me, volunteer. Don't waste the troops' money in the spring on uniforms for the fall. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're too expensive. They're great. The kids love them. They're too expensive to waste troop money on unless you know they're going to be used. So do the investiture in the fall. The pin is a pin. You still have something to do. You have a little pinning ceremony, you do the Girl Scout handshake and the whole bit. But don't do the best. I know a lot of troops do, but I don't.
Will you show everyone the Girl Scout handshake briefly in case they haven't used it before?
Oh, yeah, sure. So the Girl Scout handshake is really, would apply to both bridging and to,
I'll come
the Court of
demonstrate.
Awards.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
thank you.
So
So you're not
basically,
awkwardly by
it's
yourself.
backwards. That's all right. It's backwards. It's backwards to what it usually is because the Girl Scout sign is with your right hand, and that's what you're supposed to shake with. So you still keep the Girl Scout with your right hand and you shake left-handed.
Yeah.
So,
Official.
yeah, so typically what is done is you would pin on whatever award you're giving, and then whoever is doing the pinning, if it's the leader or an older scout or whatever, then they give the Girl Scout handshake as sort of the finale or a sealing the deal or whatever you want to do. So,
For anyone who has multi-level, there are a few pages in this GSUSA guide that gives you some multi-level examples as well. And Mandy was talking about having girls welcome girls to the next level. There's actually a formation image that shows you, depending on the levels you have, how you could set everyone up and do the walking. So
yeah. Yep. So, I think it's really fun to have that multi-level, but I think it's still also very important to acknowledge those individual level traditions because I mean, that's just something Girl Scouts has that nobody else does. So it's still important to fly up and it's still important to see yourself in the lake and all that stuff. So it's my opinion. Okay, any other bridging questions, comments? Okay, so in addition to bridging, or if you are not bridging this year, Court of Awards is kind of a general term for what you can do at the end of the year. Most of these pictures are my troops. I also grabbed a couple examples on how to present the awards. There's no right way to do this, people. Do not stress this. In my troops, I liked to have the accomplishment as we went. So they didn't have to wait to the end of the year to get all of their badges. Some people do that though. They hold them all and they get this whole bouquet, as you can tell. They get this whole bouquet of badges at the end of the year, whatever it is. Badges, patches, pins, whatever they earned. Both ways right. Both way is right. So it doesn't matter however you want to do it. Frankly, I did a little bit of both. So I would give as we went, but then come this time of year, I stopped giving. So I'd have something to give at the Court of Awards. And keep in mind, you always have the membership pin at the end of the year. You always, if you're bridging, you have those other things. So there's even those kids that never showed up would have something. They have a membership pin, right? So that's just, something to keep in mind. These are just some fun ways to display it. I would get like cheap. I had one year I had like these little watering can because they were daisies, right? These little watering pans, and I put all the patches on on bamboo skewers, stuck it in the watering can. It was ridiculously cute. So I mean, just and the water can cost me $1 at Dollar Tree. So just keep that. It's pretty easy to make something fun. So if you want to do that, as far as presenting awards, I'm obviously, because you're listening to me talk, I was raised stressing the importance of being able to do public speaking. Okay. And I have continued this with my own daughters, and I stress it with my girls too, my Girl Scout girls. I think this is a perfect opportunity to get a little snippet of that. So I recommend if you have like a big project they were working on, or maybe they each got to, even if you already gave them the badge, you could each have them present ahead of time, not spring it on them, help them prepare it. Remember what we did to earn this badge, whatever. And they can do a quick 30 seconds. You know, we earned this badge. This is some of the favorite things that we did to earn this badge. This was our year. Okay. And if each one of the members of your troop do that 30 seconds, your guests have a wrap up right there, and you don't even have to do the talking, right? The big thing you're going to have to do is sticking that microphone or getting them to talk louder. So they might be able to talk, but they'll be too quiet. Not like Miss Mandy here, who is always too loud. So anyway, that's some things that you can do in Court of Awards that doesn't even involve bridging. We often would do presentations of take action projects for the journeys. And that's a whole nother presentation, journeys. Maybe I'll do that as a like a subset program. But journeys are meant to be longer term than a badge or patch. And as part of it, to complete it, you have to do a take action project. And many take action projects are good to share what you've learned. So we have often used the end of the year ceremony as a way to share what we've learned. And that's what you see the girls doing here at the table. They're presenting their Take Action project for the media award, the Cadet Media Award. So they're talking about how they reworked media, something, an ad or something, to be more inclusive. So that is what's going on there. The other one, which is something that, because when you start doing this for 10 years, y'all, you run out of ideas. You run out of things to do. And my daughter has seen it all. So for this one, you see me with a terrible look on my face. The bottom left corner, the bottom left picture, we decided to all be, not to be blasphemous, but like baptized with our camp names. I don't even know how else to describe it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be blasphemous, but the idea is that I found a adorable little poem where you were supposed to like announce to the world that you are now Raindrop, which is my daughter's camp name. And I had, what I'm doing there is pouring on this is not my daughter, my co-leader's daughter, pouring glitter on her head. Now, the reason I'm so stressed out, of course, because, well, it's glitter and most parents hate glitter. I'm fine with it, but it was their idea, y'all, and I would get blamed for it. But this is the one they wanted to do. This is the ceremony that they wanted to do for the Court of Awards. And so dumping green glitter on top of poor Ellie's. That's Ellie Hilton. I don't know if you knew that. No, that's yeah. Not only is she's also at the time, her mother was the president of the board of directors for Girl Scouts. And so I'm dumping glitter on her kid's head. But they loved it. They thought it was so cute. So we had little name badges with what they chose to be, dump glitter on their heads, reading a little poem. It was a riot. It was a riot. So yeah, this is also, I've also done little skits, songs for them to perform, little thank you things for their parents for volunteering. I've done a variety of different things. Of course, we open with a flag ceremony, with the Pledge of Allegiance and the Girl Scout promise and all that. It's very, very fun. Oh yeah, there's the middle one with me squatting in front of the daisies. You can see the little watering cans behind me over my left shoulder that I was talking about. So, yeah. So yes, thank you for pointing them out. Keep in mind that you have resources too for any ceremony that you do. So the council, I don't know where they stand. I'm sure they still have flags. Yes, Alyssa?
We do still have flags, and I'll give everyone the link so that you can request it if you need it. And we have a few flag sets, so if multiple people need it at the same time, that won't be a problem. We unfortunately do not have a bridge anymore, but it was a pain to get in your car anyway. So do some of the creative things that Mandy suggested. Ask your girls what they want to do.
And some of us old leaders still have bridges.
There
so
you
just
go.
Ask, not me. I passed mine to a younger troop leader, but I know where it is.
That's
so
a really
there you
good
go.
point. A lot of our volunteers do have.
Yes. So don't stop at council. We have Facebook groups. You have service units. a lot of us will be more than happy to help you in any way. So just put it out there like, hey, I'm looking for this. And that goes for any ceremony, because it's not something that, not every single troop needs a full flag set. I mean, that's just not necessary. We can share. It's all good.
Some of our
So-
service units also have a large flag that has a Girl Scout trefoil on it
Yes.
and the name of your service unit. So
Yeah.
you can check with the volunteers involved with your service unit or reach out to staff if you're not sure who to get in touch with. And if that's something you would like as a backdrop, I don't know if anyone has it on an official flagpole yet, but again, something
Yeah,
else
we just got it
special
this
you
year.
could have, at your ceremony.
Yep. So there's lots of things. I mean, just throw it out there and ask and might happen. Okay, how are we doing? Oh my gosh, we're not even through. Don't worry, the rest of them are not as long. The rest of the months are not as long. And just one last thing, May is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Girl Scouts has this really nice patch grouping that goes on the back, and you get one for each Heritage Month, and then it has a nice big thing. So May is a good time to learn about this heritage. Really fun. Next, please. June. Okay, we're gonna talk about day camp. I think this was a question for some that was brought in. What do we do with the littles when they can't go to Camp Cook yet? They can't do overnight camps yet. The answer is day camp, but that answer is for anybody from 5 to 105. Day camp is amazing, and you get to go home to the air conditioning and shower and your own bed. Win-win, right? So So here are some pictures. These are all mine through the years. I did not get any of these off of Google. So there's a lot of good memories here for day. This is all my pictures from 2 different day camps. My troop started at the Newburgh Southwest Warwick Day Camp, which are the 1, 2, 3. So the top 2, and then Susan Fowler there hugging my then 7-year-old, my now 16-year-old. And I just saw Susan on Saturday, so that was really fun. And then of course, these are more modern ones of the East River, where East River always brings in the dinosaurs, who I happen to know on a personal level, and Sasquatch, which I also happen to be good friends with. So
Mandy's a fantastic resource for many things. If you have gained nothing else from this.
just ask me. I know somebody. I know my boss says I know a guy. So day camp is really, really fun. Usually they'll have an overarching theme. For this year, the Posey County, Vanderburgh County Day Camp takes place at USI. This year it's Enchanted Forest or something, which I'm not really sure what to do with NASA. But I'm working on it. So you don't have to. I mean, the themes are loose. Let's just say that. I have not heard what Newburgh's is yet. But anyway, it's really a fun time. Every service unit does it a different way. Vanderburgh Posey is a full week. Southwest Warwick is just 3 days, 2-3 days, depending on the year. I don't know what some of the other service units do, so it depends. Newburgh, Southwest Warwick, excuse me, they actually have an overnight on the last night. So they do Thursday, Friday, overnight into Saturday morning for the older kids. So, I mean, there's lots of different ways that they do this. It's really a fun time. And it's just it really gets them out doing fun stuff. Hot, sweaty, dirty, a little sun-kissed, all the wonderful things that is supposed to happen. And then you go home, take a shower, and go to bed in the air conditioning. So you can tell where my priorities lie as a Minnesotan in the South. So there we go. Now, if you're not getting together as a troop, you have been doing this every other week for the entire school year, you need a break. And you know what, sister? Take it. Take it. No harm, no foul. This is some things I've done it in the past where we did not meet during the summer. Okay. These are some things that we've done in the past. The first year we did Flat Juliet. That was really fun. So each girl had this printable that they colored, and then I was able to bring my laminator and we laminated her. And you don't even have to do that. But then they were able to share with all of us pictures of what Flat Juliet did with her in the summer when they got back. I tried to do the mailing it to different people thing. That did not work. A bunch of people didn't follow through. Don't do that. Don't do the mailing it to each other thing. Just have them take it with them, take pictures of their summer adventures, and then report back at the first troop meeting in the fall. That's it. That's all you got to do. Okay. There are several different book series that actually have a patch program. Of course, you can read any book with your, as a book club with your troop, but these and some others specifically have a patch from the publisher with it. I highly recommend Rachel Alpine. She is a goddess and a gem. Sadly, the mother of 2 boys, which is just a shame. No, she's a good boy mom. Those are going to be good men when they grow up. But she is a wonderful author. My 16-year-old still loves to read the books that she puts out because she feels so special that she actually got to talk to her. So all you have to do is buy the book, spend a little bit on the patch if you want it. She does everything else for free. She will send bookmarks, book plates with her signature on it. She will do your Zoom call with you, all for free. And these are real books, people. These are not self-published things. No. Real books. Rachel Alpine, a gem. She's wonderful. She's fantastic. Contact her. If you have younger, that's probably, I would do juniors and up. With it, Rachel Alpine, there are chapter books, okay? But there are younger books that you can do the same thing. You can pick a picture book, and then just do activities the first day back in the fall. And that's your do activities based on the book. Whatever you want to do. Okay, and fun times. June is LGBTQ plus Pride Month. So that is the Heritage Awareness Patch for June, if you're looking at doing that. Keep in mind with this one, council asks you to fill out sensitive topics form with your plans for this patch. Okay, July. Here we go. Camp Cook. I could not be amiss and not share Camp Cook. There's once again the beautiful bridge. There are lots of different opportunities for Camp Cook. It's our council property. Most of the camp opportunities are in July every year. And there are independent things where you just send your kid and then volunteers take them from there. There's troop camps, there's family camps. Just look at the link, which we will provide afterwards. Take a look. There's also, they've done a variety of things through the years. Older girls can do more rustic stuff like backpacking trips from Camp Cook, stuff like that. It is your quintessential summer camp. Okay, so we're talking outhouses, people, and we're talking about spiders in the bunks, and we're talking about dirt and hiking up hills constantly. You are always going uphill, never down, always. I don't know how they did that, but I mean, that's just how it is. You can see this very attractive picture of me. This is the morning before we left after troop camp with my 2 daughters. That's the platform tent. You could tell I had a great time, right? But you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it to give them that experience. You can also keep in mind, rent out Camp Cook, parts of it just for your troop. I know lots of troop leaders that will do that all the time. Their girls love going and they just go on their own and they have the whole camp to themselves. You just pay sort of, what am I looking for? A la carte. So you pay for what you use. So you plan out what you want to do. And if you wanted to do hatchet throwing, you add hatchet throwing. If you want to do canoeing, you need to track down a lifeguard. If you want to, all, et cetera, et cetera. But the easier way to do it is just go to camp. So, but it's a volunteer run summer camp. Like I said, they have lots of different opportunities. You can do it as a group. You can do it, just send your kid, go pick them up. It's also nice too, because it's only 2 nights. At least I haven't checked the schedule this year. Is it still the same?
I think we have some different options this year.
Yeah.
We've got options for all the grade levels. It's, I believe, brownies and up this year.
Yeah. Brownies it up probably. I'm sorry. I
For the
haven't,
overnight, yeah.
I haven't looked at the link yet this year because it just came out the past couple weeks. But it's not like you have to be there, you know, Sunday through Friday or anything like that. It's usually just 2 nights for the youngers and stuff like that. So it's doable. Even in the heat and the always going uphill and the swimming in a lake with fish, heaven forbid. Which is, you know, being from Minnesota, it's like, where else would you swim? But apparently this is a thing now, like they just don't do it. So they get to, I just had to add this slide so I could put this picture of my awesome troop. I love this picture. They did this all on their own. So getting outdoors in general. Okay, so if we're not talking about specifics, just getting outdoors. Again, there's no wrong way to do this. If you are a city girl and you have no interest in hiking uphill both ways and peeing in a hole, I totally get that and I support that. But that doesn't mean you can't get outside with your girls. I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. Please don't let that intimidate you. There are levels. For the longest time, I didn't, me, Girl Scout forever, did not get my troop camp training until just a few years ago. They just want to do cabins. They just wanted to do whatever. I didn't need it yet. So, you know, it's just go where you are. Don't feel like you have to be Troop Beverly Hills or their competitors or whatever. That's nonsense. Do what you want to do. I mean, you can walk the riverfront. Ta-da! You're outside. Check. Okay, we did it. I mean, really, that's what you need to do. Local parks, state parks, national. We have national park sites, like I mentioned earlier. All good, all good. All these things are available to you: hiking, cooking, biking, astronomy. I'm do the astronomy club. That's an option. All those sorts of things. This picture, as you can see, I'm waiting for a train to kill my entire troop. It's no train, obviously. But this is at Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial. We spent 2 days volunteering at Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial and earning our National Park Service patch that Girl Scouts has. This was intense. And I'm pretty sure that my younger, who is the one with the disgusted look on her face, yeah. Yes, thank you. Pretty sure she still hasn't forgiven me for that. So let's go to the next slide so you can, I think I've got more. Yes. Okay, where is it? Okay, top left. There they are. Thank you. Literally, they are tilling this field by hand and planting heritage heirloom gourds that are offspring gourds from the gourds that Lincoln himself planted. I'm not making this up. Okay. My younger, every time that hoe hit that dirt, I knew it was my head. Every time. My older is like, this is amazing. I'm living like Lincoln lived, and she thought it was fantastic. My younger, I'm gonna kill you in your sleep. Like, so I mean, but you know what? It was a tremendous opportunity. This was only part of the experience. They also got to clean gourds from last year. As you see them in the picture there. They got to carve wool. The bottom left one, again, Ellie Hilton, okay, which is a coincidence. Ellie Hilton, 2 seconds before this picture was taken, deathly afraid of fire. I'm not kidding, like frighteningly afraid of fire. Every time we cooked on a fire before, she would have the longest roasting stick and would stand like this. It was just her and me and my younger daughter. Knew all the safety measures that they teach you in basic outdoor skills, okay? She was willing to do it. And look at that girl. Do you see what she's doing? She's literally has her hand in a fire. And I'm like sneaking my phone out because I got to take pictures for her mom. You know, I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. She was totally cool with it. It was amazing. So, I mean, these are experiences you just can't. Her mom said she won't even let a candle be burning in the house. There's no reason for it. There's no trauma in the past. She's just one of those kind of kids. And I had her light on a campfire. And I didn't push it. I just explained to her. It was awesome. So, that's the Lincoln trip. Field day. Field day is a great way to get outdoors. It's really, really fun. There's lots of different badges that you can earn at different levels. And so that's a really, really fun one. And all you need is a patch of grass. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Pick up a couple cheap awards, like trophies, and you're good to go. This and this Hall wetlands, they're down at the bottom. So that's really a fun activity. They do all that work for you, and you just bring your girls and they show them invertebrates in the water and everything. These other two, with the cardboard structure and on the bridge, that wasn't a bridging ceremony, but it could have been. That is at Patoka Lake State Park. And that was, as you can tell by the masks, COVID era. Okay. So I was not about to set up a tent for every single girl, which at the time was the rule because it was COVID. So they each had to have their own individual tents. And I said, hail to the no. Am I setting up 12 tents? So we did an outdoor adventure day. Okay. We left first bright and early, and we weren't coming back until 10 o'clock at night. So we got the entire experience. And it was really amazing. We had, and I booked it all with the rangers there. We got to do archery. We got to do the hike. This was when the cicadas were really loud that one summer. Do you remember that? They're coming again this summer. So we're doing that. Did a hike with them. We rented the picnic shelter, versus a cabin or something. And I had activities to finish out their journey. There was a fireplace in the shelter, so we were able to cook our pie irons and our hot dogs and everything there. And a friend came out and told stories, had them write stories. I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome. And I got to go home in the air conditioning and sleep in my own bed. You sense a train with the shower and everything. I did not include the picture of me after building that fire. It was a hot day. It did not look good, but it was worth it. So anyway, I'm just trying to give you some examples of being outdoors and just do it in your way. You don't have to. There's some great parks right here in town. Whatever your girls want to do, that's what you need to do. Build up to it. If they want the grand adventure, okay, but we're going to build up to it. If that's what you need to do, that's what they need to do. That's all good. This I had to include because my daughters still talk about this to this day. The younger one, because she got to do it. The older one, because she was left at home. Because I had two different troops, because they're two different ages, okay? I came up with this for a summer activity. Again, we did not meet during the summer as a rule. We met this one time. We took advantage of activities that are only available during the business day because they're typically at school, right? So we had a progressive meal. We started for appetizers at Auntie Anne's, where they have, I don't know if they still do, this one is now 14, so I don't know if they still do, I haven't checked, but they have how to roll a pretzel, and they go through but they only will do it at 9 o'clock in the morning when the mall's not open yet. Okay, so we start for appetizers, and we have pretzels, and then of course, they bake them all for you and you get to eat your pretzels, okay? And they give you the cool, I didn't have a picture of the glasses. You get pretzel glasses, the whole thing. It's freaking adorable. Okay. And then we moved on to Gaudy Town, which I know they don't do this anymore. Find someplace else that'll do it for you. COVID just, anyway. So at Gaudy Town, they used to do a make your own pizza. Same principle. They show you back in the do a tour of the kitchen. You get to learn how they make all the food, learn how the safety things, da 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 da. You make your own pizza pans. Are we back now?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think it was internet.
Oh, okay. You guys still with me? Okay, just to review, I'm sorry, I don't know where I lost you. Auntie Anne's for appetizer, Gotti Town or some pizza place for the main meal, lunchtime, and then dessert at Orange Leaf. Once again, this was a long time ago. I don't know if the owner is still the same. She was wonderful. Former Girl Scout herself was so excited about this. Showed the girl, I didn't have a picture, but they got to go back in the back room there to see all the machines from behind, which is so cool. You know, like seen behind the curtain. And then of course they all got whatever they wanted for the frozen yogurt. And that was the day. And it was still talked about today. Like I said, these are brownies at the time. They're 14 now. Still talking about it. Loved it. I wanted to bring this up too, because while my family and I have gone to Girl Scout Day at the Otters to the game, this year was the first year we stayed for the clinic afterwards. And I was pleasantly surprised at how much fun it was. My warning is this, it goes very late at night. Okay. That's why we never did it as a troop when they were little, because I can't stay up that late, not to mention a bunch of cranky daisies. But if you're not if your daisies are fine at night, go for it. Or brownies or whatever. So basically what they do this every year, and it's like a package price, it's dirt cheap. You get a ticket, a concession, a patch, you get the player meet and greet after the game, and then you get a skills clinic with actual players on the field, and then you get to put up your tent on the field and stay all night and they play a movie on the big screen. We were only upset that we didn't bring our tent, because I honestly didn't think it was going to be that cool. I'm hard to impress, and I was impressed.